Hi, Mark. Just after 8 a.m. Eastern, Monday, the 12th of May. US session about to get underway and lots to report. A busy weekend, pretty much based on the US-China trade talks over the weekend. Positive news coming out of that meeting. And following the positive mood, it's definitely risk on market sentiment driven by the talks and the optimism. Both parties have agreed to lowering tariffs for the next 90 days by 115%, and US dollar index has rallied on the news. Major US equity markets in pre-market trading have all rallied as well. We've seen oil rallying, of course, with the inverse relationship between those and gold. We've seen gold come off, but a lot to look at as the US session gets underway. US dollar index following last week's strong move higher. There's the move today, really strong. We've got support at 138 and resistance already sitting at 101.77. If I zoom into the hourly, you can see the strong move. Bit of a bounce down as the US session gets underway. This is the hour prior to the US session underway. Sellers will look to continue, maybe turn that around, but optimism is the optimism based on the China-US trade talks will probably carry on into the US session, and buyers may well look up at this 101.76 resistance. Let's have a look at S&P. Pre-market trading. Wall Street will open up in an hour and a half. So a gap up to start the week. And then, as you can see, continued demand, continued buying from open at 5,738. We've got resistance at 5,865. Strong move, well over 100 plus points already before Wall Street opens. And let's see how that continues and plays out once Wall Street opens up and the major US equity markets are in play. Let's have a look at gold. Not unexpectedly, gold has been sold off. That's the inverse relationship between gold and equity markets and the US dollar. Risk sentiment is on. That's moving away from the safe haven status of gold for now. And we've seen a push lower from an open 3,289, which now sits as the intraday resistance, and support down at 3,205. 3,200 would be the support area. Gold will try bounce back on the hourly. There's the bounce back in the previous hour. Double bottom at 3,207. We'll see if that can be maintained depending on the performance of the US dollar now that the US session is underway. Let's have a look at Brent oil. Certainly a beneficiary of the risk on sentiment and the positive news, US-China positive trade talks. That'll certainly have a positive effect. And we'll see Brent oil. There we go, rallying, doing its thing, following up from a strong week last week. Support 63.94, just under the $64 mark, and resistance already at $66.35. We'll see if buyers can continue with this move, come up and maybe test or break above this resistance area. It's already a big move, and over a $2 move, which is a lot for pre-US session. We'll watch and see how that plays out. And then crypto, Bitcoin. Bitcoin not doing much. A strong week last week, maintained over the weekend, 24/7 trading with Bitcoin. So it came off that little bit, tested higher, tested lower today, but still sitting around that 104,000 mark. Buyers will certainly be looking to come up and test the 105,000 mark and look higher. Sellers will look to come under the 104,000 level. I did draw in earlier on the hourly an ascending trend line, which had held up until an hour ago, now being tested. You can see that buyers will want to get above this, ascending trend line. Buyers will want to get above the ascending trend line, come back up and test 105,000. Sellers will look to maintain below. Sentiment, buyers, overall trend still positive for Bitcoin going into the new week. Keep that discipline, and I will see you at end of day session.